Alright guys, it's finally here, Meghan Markle on Chopped Jr. I've been talking about it, and here it is. Let's see what is next with Meghan here. She's got a weird little expression right now. Let's see.
They are bitter.
That Sophia is showing with the intensity of the sear she's putting on that floor.
What?
We're beginning with
So right away, the woo! That is something that's so common with Meghan, is just doing things that are a little bit bigger than other people to get the attention. So everyone is cheering, they're all equal, and she goes, woo! Like there was no purpose for that. It wasn't real enthusiasm. She wasn't really excited, but it's just her being a little bit louder and drawing more attention to herself. And that's the thing that's so irritating. Like people who just make noises or speak to get attention, those are the sort of people that we just tune out eventually, because we know our brain learns. We learn this is not someone who has useful information. This is just something to tune out.
Today, judges, I prepared for you a taco
Let's see.
dill and olive yogurt
Meghan's
sauce.
eating is very bizarre.
That's really creative. It's sort of tzatziki-inspired sauce you made, I think, is incredible, but kind of a bummer about the greens.
Yeah.
Looks like we have two versions of it. Cooked down maybe a little too much, and then not cooked down.
Yeah, these are not sauteed at all, so I'm not getting the wasabi candy at all.
Okay.
And the sauce, it's delicious, but it's lost on this plate.
Okay.
But your book,
Just to say in general, this is a pretty harsh show, I think, for like 12-year-olds. Like they're all like 12. I mean, they're making really good food. I mean, I know they have to make the show or whatever, but pretty harsh. And again, Meghan, notice she's always talking first. It's supposed to cycle through them. It does to a degree, but often when it's not her turn first, or it's not even her turn to speak, because they don't all speak on every single round, she finds something to say, a question to ask, and again, it's to just draw some attention.
cup over here is delicious.
Thank you.
It's got a nice caramelization outside and juicy inside.
So, Sophia, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I've always been really interested in cooking and in medicine. I would like to become a surgeon or perform
Did you see Meghan's face? Let me know if I'm imagining this, but we've noticed she tends to be very competitive. I think she doesn't like this girl because this girl's just amazing, right? She wants to be a doctor. She's like 12. She works with charity. Meghan, to me, looked like a cat looking at a mouse. Like scary.
because I love to use my knife skills in the kitchen, and
See
I've
that?
operated on food all my life.
Again, compare Meghan's expression to that woman. Now look at Meghan's fake laughing right now to get attention.
Wait a
Just
minute.
kind of makes sense.
You're the first
See?
person who's ever said you want to use your knife skills on humans in this room. All right, Sophia, thank you.
Look at how ridiculous it is. It's like if you actually look for that. So Meghan starts fake laughing. The woman extra starts real laughing. And then as the woman's done laughing, Meghan's done laughing as well. She goes, ah, right? It's so uncanny. She's so like pathologically competitive. And we've seen this from her again and again. If you look for all the little things. Like imagine how crazy it is. She's a little battle in her head going on. Like, I'm laughing, so they'll notice that. This woman's laughing. Oh, she finished and I'm done too. Bah! Just throws out one extra little noise to be the last one to get some more attention. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
And next up, Jacob.
Judges, I've prepared for you a seared pork fillet over mashed potatoes and a salad with wilted arugula and greens.
Okay.
Love the presentation. Absolutely beautiful.
There's a lot of technique going on in this dish. You braised the greens, and that's really important that you got that heat
Meghan's
onto
about to
them.
come up. Let's
You
see.
kept the flavors cohesive, but I think this tenderloin is a little bit dried out.
Yes, the pork is overcooked, but I do feel like everything has a purpose on your plate, and I think that's like a really incredible thing to achieve. Thank you.
So what got you into this
Overall, I feel like she's pretty nice to him, and not all of her feedback's brutal.
craft? How'd you get into cooking?
Well, my parents aren't the greatest cooks, nor do they enjoy cooking.
Oh, well.
So one day, in cooking.
Another thing, a lot of it's edited out because I wanted like the interesting parts for you, but there's so many times when Meghan, I think, is expecting the attention and it's just cut off. Like, she'll be about to do something that's cut off. So I imagine when it was live, because we've seen like unedited speeches or interviews from her and how much she talks, how much of her they probably had to cut out.
The dressing is delicious. The balance of sweetness and savory is perfect.
This dish reminded me of the kind of food that I grew up eating in California, like that real sort of farm-to-table, fresh, really simple ingredients.
That was my goal.
I have to give this person credit. I wish I knew who it was. When I first saw this clip, not the whole episode, Meghan sang that. Someone commented, they were like, oh, Meghan, you were eating all those farm fresh ingredients at the $5 Sizzler, right? If you don't know, Meghan has like an infamous quote where it was like about food scarcity, and she like did this whole thing like, oh, I couldn't even afford to eat, and when we got the $5 Sizzler buffet, it was such a big thing. So again, she went from Mrs. Foodie, lifestyle expert, sorority girl, you know, and she truly did have a vacation home that her father had, and all this stuff, to Mrs. Struggles. Her stories, whatever, gets her the most credit at any given moment.
I feel that in the dish, so good job.
Sophia, you've been chopped. Judges?
Sophia, your pork was just so delicious, but unfortunately the yogurt sauce didn't really fit with everything else that we had going on the plate. And we know you put the wasabi candy in with the
Poor girl. It's funny, the sweetest girl there. Like, she's so sweet, you know. Like, gosh.
greens, but I think because they weren't able
Look
to
at her
cook down, we weren't able to taste that flavor. But I will say, I really enjoyed eating your food.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for this
Just like
amazing
roasting her and then like, oh, I enjoyed your food. Like,
experience.
again,
Jacob, what-
every time. Like, it's so subtle, but if you look for it, notice all of them clapped, then they all were about to stop. Meghan just did a few extra loud claps. She's always doing that. Just laugh a little bit longer, clap a little bit longer. And it's rare to meet someone like this, but it's just this crazy competition for attention.
It is really gooey in the center.
Yeah.
With that said, it reminds me of almost like a snickerdoodle texture where it has a chewiness about it, which I personally
Was a very smart
Look
call.
at that.
this ricotta.
Again, I don't think Meghan likes the girls. So she was giving him some nice feedback, then the other woman was giving feedback. That was the girl I edited in Meghan's face.
Really is a highlight of the dish. I mean, just the brightness of the lemon zest in there too is just amazing.
Judges, time to analyze the complete meals.
Today,
But they both had their meat overcooked.
and then we go to the entree round.
Right. The colors and
Meghan's the expert on meat.
vibrancy on Maisie's plate was great. Also, let's not forget, her pork was cooked really well.
Notice how fast she's talking to dominate the conversation. Again, I did edit it just her parts, but she does talk the most, and I think she's talking fast, so she can just be more forceful and talk over the rest.
Delicious. The mustard that you put on it.
Oh, right.
But
Is everybody in
Again,
agreement about
see
who should be
that?
chopped?
Like when the other woman made a point, like the mustard, she's like, oh, right. Like, I knew that point too. Anyways, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. See y'all soon.